Now let me tell y'all something about dreams.
When you make it, you'll realize that you always had it in you.
Once something's important to you, it never leaves your mind.
I was poor because I didn't have anything, but I was rich because I had a dream.
I say chase your dreams, man. Do that thing, man, that keeps you up at night.
It's really a matter of protecting your dreams, protecting your imagination.
And I want you to actively try to expand your image of yourself.
You see, your dreams, you either pursue them or they can haunt you.
I'm just afraid that if I died today, that my life would have amounted to nothing. Dreams don't happen overnight.
There's a difference between knowing the path and walking.
When you're on your way up, everyone roots for you because you remind them of their dreams.
There's no way you lose when you go after a dream.
Is I hope you chase those dreams with a burning desire.
The price you will pay for not making your dream come true,
only thing you know is you can never stop,
is far greater than the one that you will pay to make it come true.
When you're at the top, everyone tears you down because you remind them that they gave up on them.
Question time.
What's your dream?
I heard a quote one time from Vincent van Gogh that really rang true. He said, he has dedicated his life to his art and he has lost his mind in the process. And when I sat and I thought about that, it sounded very familiar.
Means that as you walk through life in your normal mode, things will call to you. And if you pursue them, they will take you deep. It doesn't really matter what it is that calls. What matters is that you pursue it and you pursue it to the depths. And as you pursue it to the depths, you will become transformed.
It's like the difference between good and great, it is underestimated by most humans. It's like if you want to be good, you can be talented and be good, but if you good and you just wake up and be good, you're not gonna be me. If you're not doing 70-hour weeks on your craft, right? And it's like that is such a hard thing to communicate to people.
It is impossible until some crazy son has the audacity to believe that no matter what the expert or the doctor says, I can still do that. And if you don't believe it, just sit your ass down over there and watch me do it. You don't believe it.
When you're pursuing your destiny, when you identify with your destiny, you have to be selfish, you have to be maniacal, you have to be uncompromising.
Delusional.
Complete delusion. You gotta believe the delusion. Because it's only delusional until it works.
Is a reminder for the gladiators in the arena who feel beat up and scarred with no hope in sight. Hard feels shitty. This is what hard feels like, and this is why most people can't do it, but you can.
The price you will pay, the suffering you will go through to make your dream come true is incredibly small, infinitely smaller than the price you will pay if you never do. You'll pay that one the rest of your life. And so ask yourself what you're willing to risk. What's the price you're willing to pay? Because what most people do when they're trying to chase their dream or their big outcome, the whole time they're negotiating the price in their head. They're negotiating it. Should I continue to do it? Is it worth it? I don't know if I can continue anymore. It's getting higher, and that price is failure.
You gotta fight. It's hard. You're gonna have days where you don't wanna do anything. You're gonna have days where getting out of bed is the hardest motherfucking thing you ever did in your life. You gotta get the fuck up and you gotta get in the fucking fight. That's reality. The minute you lay down is the minute that all those demons and all that anxiety and all that stress and all that fear can get you.
And through all the fire and through all the flame and through all the pain, I hope that you find happiness deep in your heart.
When you accomplish everything that you set out to accomplish, you'll look back on these days and smile. Because if only you knew where you'd end up. The sleepless nights wondering if you'll make it, you would have been laughing too.
I want to tell all of you that are out there chasing a dream to keep chasing it. I know right now you might feel alone. You might feel like it's just you out there doing it. Everyone thinks you're crazy. Let me tell you something. I want you to hear me. Yes, you. You were born to do something great with your life. There's this part of your heart that wants to be somebody so bad, that wants to make a difference for other people, that wants to win, that wants to accomplish something great.
That the worst thing in life, the worst feeling of all, is to see that you wasted your potential, that you had dreams and you never even tried them, and then you're in your 50s or 60s, you're facing death. Why was I alive? I didn't do it. I could have done this, that, or that. Never even tried. Remind yourself of that.
I have given every single thing, every ounce of my life to this craft, to perfecting my craft, and I continue to do so. And in the process, I have lost my mind, but in a good way, to regular society, to people who wake up at 9 a.m., who clock out at 5 p.m. They would look at me and say, I've lost my mind, but me, I have found it almost.
That's the call. And that can happen in any direction, virtually any direction. You just have to pursue it with sufficient faith.
You can't stop people from trying to limit your dreams, but you can stop it from becoming a reality.
The world belongs to optimists.
Dreams are something you have to believe in.
So I applaud you for your dreaming, for your running toward your dream. I applaud you for believing in yourself, because that's what life is about.
Dream big, dare to dream, because everything is possible.
Are you willing to do what it takes to make that dream a reality? See, not while you're sleeping, but every darn day you wake up. Because if it does, good morning.
I almost gave up on mine. To all of you out there, please keep your dreams alive.
You have to keep fighting. You have to wake up and do your fucking job. Even if you have to crawl through it, you've got to get up and do it. Because the minute you lay down, it's got you forever, bro, and you can't get out of it.
Following your dreams is a lonely, solitary, scary, dangerous pursuit. You can't wait for somebody to think you can do it.
We humans normally go through life not accepting things. We want things to be different from the way they are. We want to have a better wife or husband. We want our children to be better. We don't like the political system. We want this sort of utopia to suddenly come about. We want people to be different. We want this, we want that. And to Nietzsche, that meant you are anti-life. You are against life because life isn't like that. Life is a series of facts. Life is what it is. We've evolved a certain way. Your reality is a certain way. It is what it is. You want to love life. You want to love fate. And what fate means, things happen to you can't control. You didn't control who your parents are. You didn't control what city you were born into, what school you went into. You didn't control whether you were born rich or poor. There's much you can't control. It's fate. Accept it for what it is. Stop whining and stop going, I want something else. Embrace your life.
So you did not arrive here to walk lockstep in status quo. No, you did not. You arrived on planet Earth to shatter the status quo, to break free from prevailing paradigms, to not just study history, but to make history. You have come to break free in such a way that who you are as an infinite, divine emanation of pure intelligence, unconditional love, perfect peace, life itself can begin to reveal itself in ways that it never has before because you have never existed before you. You have to live in the inquiry of what can I give, what can I share, how can I shine, how can I radiate, give up the thought of what can I get from the world. The world has nothing for you at all. There is nothing the world has for you other than an opportunity for you to give, for you to share, for you to serve, for you to radiate, for you to activate your potential. That's all the world has for you.
Life will determine what you get.
We can be the happiest and the most grateful we've ever been while we are going through the most difficult, painful, scary time in our lives.
So, amor fati, I accept it, I love it, I embrace it.
Why do we force? So that we can learn to pick ourselves up.
I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career.
You're not going to score on every shot. Doesn't mean you shouldn't take the shots. Doesn't mean you shouldn't try to hit the goal.
Ever tried? Ever failed?
Like everyone else, you want to learn the way to win, but never to accept the way to lose.
I'm gonna fail.
And you're gonna fail.
I'm gonna fail.
And you're gonna fail.
I'm gonna fail.
And you're gonna fail.
And I will succeed.
And then you're gonna win.
26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed.
If you want to give up, you can give up. This is your choice.
I've failed over and over and over again in my life.
Now, the only place to go from failure,
and that is why I succeed,
is to win.
You can't go back once you've started this damn journey. You can only go forward.
Try again. Fail again. Fail better.
What if I can become someone that no one thinks I can be?
The hardest choices require the strongest wills.
My brain, you cannot process failure. You're a failure? That's almost worse than death.
The number one reason why people underachieve and fail in life is because the fear of failure holds them back from ever trying. And the reason why people fear failure is they don't understand failure. They don't understand this critical point. If you can understand this point, it can turn your whole attitude around. It's simply this.
Failure is 100% necessary for greatness. To achieve greatness, to have that success, you've got to fail as many times as possible.
Remember, you can't move forward without having failures. It's just impossible.
The truth is, whatever game you play in life, sometimes you're going to lose. A point, a match, a season, a job. It's a roller coaster with many ups and downs. And it's natural when you're down to doubt yourself.
People should know that you never will be able to go through life without failures. Failures make us learn. Failures make you stronger. Pain makes you stronger.
You gotta decide, wait. Even if things don't work out, even if I experience defeat, a failure, that does not make me a failure. It's a difference between failing and being a failure. If things don't work out, if you don't produce the results you want, that's all. But don't confuse who you are with the results that you produce.
My first 9 businesses didn't really amount to anything.
9.
As in, the first one, I spent time on it.
F***ing failed. Second one, this one will be different. F***ing failed.
And then the third one, this one, failed.
And then 6 more after that.
And it's painful as shit because the whole time everyone is telling you, I told you so.
And they're right. Today.
But not forever.
Failure is an indispensable part of success. Failure is essential to success. That if you avoid failings, you cannot succeed.
It's not the critic who counts. It's not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done it better. The credit belongs to the person who's actually in the arena.
The person we really admire isn't only the person who wins, and it's because we're looking for something deeper.
Whose face is marred with blood and sweat and dust. Who, at the best, in the end, knows the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails daring greatly.
We're looking for that, the manifestation of character that allows you to win across the set of possible games.
No one has ever achieved anything if they haven't faced failures, if they haven't had disappointments. To achieve anything in life, you have to be prepared to take on the odds.
The flower that blooms in adversity is the most rare and beautiful of all.
And then once you recognize that part of that monster or all of that monster is you, that's when you can actually start fulfilling your dreams and living the life that you're meant to live.
All of us, nobody's perfect. We failed too many times. We have so many uncertainty in our life that we have to be capable when we are down to stand up. It's part of the journey, it's part of the process, it's part of our education. In my case, I learn the most when I'm down.
You might never fail on the scale I did, but some failure in life is inevitable. It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default.
You have to achieve failure. You have to take it that far. Nobody wants to go that far. It's too scary. But you know something? I got news for you. That's where winning is.
I faced adversity. The true greats can conquer adversity, and that's what I said to myself every day in that camp. The true greats come through adversity.
The moment of failure and the atmosphere and the finality of it all and the audience, and I felt demoralized.
I don't look at failure as failure. I look at failure as attempts at what I'm trying to accomplish. So what that means is this: you are just as tough as all the other people that have endured what you are enduring right now. So always stay in the fight.
To accept defeat, to learn to die is to be liberated from it. So when tomorrow comes, you must free your ambitious mind and learn the art of dying.
You stop being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Wake up. We have a moral burden to bear, and that's the adventure of our life.
So, you got two choices. One, you get scared, you give up, and then you burn up. And the second one,
or I can totally just
stack it up, and fail and fail and fail until I succeed.
And you have not failed. What you've done is you've learned. And you're still alive. So get up and go get after it.
Who do you follow on Instagram? Write it down. Who do I follow? Who do I rate? If I look at your phone log, your history of the last 5 people you spoke to, who is the last person you had a real meaningful conversation with? If it was no one, that's a problem. If it was your parent or someone you admire or someone you want to be like, that's good. So let's talk about the 4th C. The 4th C, if you want to be motivated, if you want to achieve something with the potential that you have, is choice. Choice. I choose to sit at the front and take notes. I choose to drive 150 miles to help people. I choose to sit down on this bus. I choose. You don't get to choose for me. And I've been saying that my whole life, and so have these people in the room with these t-shirts on. I choose. You don't get to decide. You do not get to decide what subject I choose, which uni I go to, what I become. And that's one of the biggest realizations for me recently that we've been discussing is no matter how much you may try to bury me, I realize I'm a seed and man, I'm just gonna bloom. So come at me. And that's the same thing I want you to realize, that in any moment, in this moment right now, the next 10 minutes, you have a choice. And that choice is, we've given you the 4 C's. But you gotta go home and you gotta think about, yeah, like they were a bit mad and a bit passionate and they gave up their money, but how do I apply this stuff? The only knowledge that matters is the knowledge that you apply. So what do you choose? If you want to stay motivated in life, if you want to be as great as Malcolm X, you gotta realize something. A man who stands for nothing will fall for anything. What do you stand for? What is your legacy going to be? Who do you hang around? What do you represent? Not just in person, but your influence. Even in the sessions today, look, right now, some people still talking. You're having an influence on your friends right now. She ain't your friend right now. I'm trying to help you. And I'm saying it not because I'm trying to be judgmental or negative towards you, but I just want to be real in this room and be 100% honest. If you don't tell me something about the flaws I'm making, how am I supposed to know? I can't watch my own back. So I need you to watch my back. That's community. But you have to choose those things. So if you want to be motivated, what do you want to choose?
People go, what's your biggest fear in life?
You ever feel like nothing good was ever going to happen to you?
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate.
I have spent my whole life scared.
Fear is the path to the dark side.
If you didn't withdraw in fear from everything that life threw at you, who could you become?
The best way to fight the demons that chase you in the night is to stop and turn around.
Fear is an illness. If you catch it and you leave it untreated, it can consume you.
Fear wasn't real. He said it wasn't made of anything, it was just air.
Fear is not real.
Fear is my friend. Fear allows me to reach my highest potential.
There is no shame to admit that you're afraid.
Believe in yourself.
Never fear a storm.
Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
If you can teach people to stand up in the face of the things they're afraid of, they get stronger.
Do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain.
You can either live your dreams or live your fears.
Because there's no courage without fear. And when I made peace with that, it changes everything in my life.
You learn things painfully. And when you learn something painfully, a part of you has to die. That's the pain. You know, when a dream is shattered, for example, a huge part of you that constituted that dream, maybe even the biological substrate of that dream, has to be stripped away and burned. And so, life is a constant process of death and rebirth. And to participate in that fully is to allow yourself to be redeemed by it.
What are the things that you fear that's been keeping you from living your dream? That's been keeping you from doing some things that you would like to do? Just think about those things. You must be willing to go forward and face your fears again and again and again. There's a difference between having a fear and the fear having you.
Bravery is not the absence of fear. Bravery is feeling fear and moving forward anyway.
The fear is never reaching your potential. That always falling short, always quitting before you're done, always procrastinating, always not doing the right thing. And then one day you're an old man and you look back and go, God, I could have been great. I could have been great.
Winning never visits you in your daydreams. It sees you in your nightmares. The things that you come visit you in your nightmares, those things are real. Those are the things that you have to deal with. Those are the monsters underneath the bed. Those are the skeletons in the closet. Those are the things that you've put away. And some of the stuff that you've put away and you don't want to deal with is some of the best part of you.
Many fears is it that you are dealing with, but ultimately you conquer them. And then the outlook on the rest of the life looks different. It changes something inside of you. It changes the perspective, how you are looking at things, where you see other people, they are living in fear, but fear of nothing.
It's like you're not as good as you could be, so you let that part of you die. And if someone comes along and says, you know, there's some dead wood here, man, it needs to be burned off. You think, well, that stuff's still a bit alive. When that burns, it's gonna hurt. It's like, yeah, well, no kidding. But maybe the thing that emerges in its place is something better.
Now, fear and courage tend to be habits. That if you are afraid and you give in to the fear and you back away, it becomes a habit to back away whenever you're afraid or unsure. If you're afraid and you force yourself to confront the fear, it becomes a habit to confront the fear whenever you find something that you're afraid of. And you'll find that most fears disappear when you confront them. And most fears, fears of failure, fears of rejection, fears of loss, fears of pain, fears of limitation, fears of the loss of a relationship, fears of ill health, most of these fears disappear when you confront them head on.
That if I wanted to be the best person that I could be, that I needed to go where the fear is. Go where the fear is. Go where the fear is.
Everything that you ever wanted is on the other side of fear.
Don't fear failure. Dream big. Work hard. Stay positive. Enjoy the journey.
Learn to dance in the rain.
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. Not even me. You got a dream, you got to protect it.
It starts with yourself, man. You gotta start diving into those things that you are afraid of. You don't gain confidence by going to the spot that makes you feel good. It's gonna be a false reality. And the second life gives you that challenge, all you wanna do is go back to what gave you confidence. Is that happy spot? No. What gives you confidence? What gives you confidence, not being afraid, is overcoming the fear.
How do you overcome fear? The first thing you've got to realize is that most of the fear that you have isn't a reality, it's just built up in your head. So what you need to do to overcome your fear is to go and face it, go and look at it, go on the attack, move towards it. That's what you need to do if you're afraid of something. Don't hide from it. The more you hide from it,
the bigger it gets.
We're tried so hard in our lives to fit in, yet the people we idolize most are the ones that stand out. But when you're prepared, there is no fear. There is no fear of failure, okay? Because even if you've walked out of something and you feel like you failed at it, your preparation is so strong that you're gonna take that failure and turn it into the outcome you desire.
You should be scared. You should be anxious. You should be worried. You should be concerned. You know what that means? That means you actually give a fuck about what you're trying to do.
I used to think that if you were really courageous, eventually you got to the point where you weren't afraid. I'm going to tell you something, that if you're not a little bit afraid, at least 3 or 4 nights a week, you're not trying hard enough. If you're not falling on your face over and over again, if you're not trembling when you go to sleep with your heart pounding, then what is happening is you're not trying hard enough. You're living too far within your potential. That all really successful people live on the outside edge of what they're capable of. And it's always a little bit scary on the outside edge because we all have feelings of uncertainty. We all have fears. We all have doubts that hold us back. But the brave person is simply the person who moves forward and keeps taking the chance.
You begin to trust yourself and put yourself in a situation where you have to make it happen. You will make it happen. I know that you've got greatness within you. I know that you have unlimited potential in you. I know that you have something to give to the universe. And what kind of gift could you give if fear wasn't an issue? And I'm saying, you can have fears, but don't surrender. Don't let your fears have you.
Everybody thinks they can have the perfect decision. There is no perfect decision. There's just life.
Who am I? What do I desire? What do I know?
The reason you have memory isn't to remember the past. The reason you have memory is to not do the same stupid things again in the future. That's fundamentally the reason. And so you remember some things and you don't remember other things. And your memory has a shape, and these stories fit into that shape. And so at minimum, the stories have evolved to adapt to your memory. Now, I would say since your memory has evolved to adapt to the world, that implies that the stories have evolved to adapt to the world.
Ultimately, what we're trying to do is get to a place of stillness and clarity and focus so we can be 100% locked in whatever we're doing. That's what this is all about. And sometimes you're flashing forward, sometimes you're looking to history for perspective, sometimes you're emptying your mind entirely. Every situation's got different handles, and you grab onto the right one at the right time.
What you believe will dictate your thoughts on a moment-by-moment basis. So if you believe that money's hard to make, as a simple example, you're not going to have ideas or thoughts around money that would be lending to making it easily, right? So what you believe dictates what you think, and they're always aligned, right? Your beliefs dictate your thoughts, dictate your emotions, dictate your actions, which produce your results. And your results, when you look at them, then just reinforce the original belief. And so we're caught in that construct, right? But the linchpin is the belief system. So the question is, how do I actually change what I believe? If my beliefs really do dictate my destiny, right? Which is, I'm not the only person suggesting that. The question becomes, how do I change my beliefs? And in that is an inherent challenge, because by definition, beliefs are that which are true.
What does being a victim get you? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So if you're getting nothing from one direction, why not turn around and go to the other direction? I mean, to me, it's really common sense, but you have to break down that, and you have to give people this understanding that it's okay to have had something happen to you. Like, you're not a bad person because of that. And it sounds crazy unless somebody's watching this who's gone through something. You know the guilt you feel and the things that you carry that you haven't told anyone because you're ashamed or all these things. That's okay. But continuing to allow it to affect you, that's on you. That's not on the abuser, that's not on the situation, that's on you. It's a choice you have to make of, I am no longer gonna let this happen.
The world that we exist in is really a world that is happening cognitively in our minds based on beliefs, rituals, culture, social indoctrination, and what our mom and our dad and our media and our priest and our teachers and our preachers tell us to be, do, and think. That's the culturescape. But we don't see that, because like a fish swimming in water, we don't realize that the rules in which we live life are not necessarily true for everyone else. They're only true for us because of our conditioning. Now, the problem with this culturescape is that many people believe it's real, and thus they become a victim of the culturescape. The things that happen to them, a breakup, a business failure, being hospitalized, severely influence them. The world happens to them.
See, great stories they're representations of patterns of adaptive behavior. The fact that a great story is true at multiple levels of analysis simultaneously. And truly great stories can be interpreted at multiple levels of analysis simultaneously. That's actually what gives them depth. So when you say a story is deep, well, here's a meaning. Oh, look, here's another. Oh, look, here's another one. And then the meanings often exist in parallel with one another. And great stories, and the really archetypal stories are like that. The story of Moses, for example, that's an archetypal story. The idea that people escape from tyranny, go through a crisis, spend time wandering in the desert, are moving towards a better place. It's like that's the story of life.
How we look at the world is, the world is objective, but how we look at it determines what we're going to be able to do to it. Epictetus says, it's not things that upset us, it's our opinions about things, right? And so realizing like, oh, okay, the world is objective. My opinion is what determines everything. And by opinion, he means judgments, right? He says it's not things that upset us, it's our judgment about things. So it's really maybe judgment's a better word than perspective.
I could either be in a powerful state of being, states like joy, curiosity, excitement, calm, peace, passion, or I would be in a primal state of being, boredom, anger, frustration, some form of fear. I'm always in one of those two states, and I'm never in two states at one time. Those map beautifully to the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system, right? So at any moment, we're either in fight or flight or we're in rest and relaxation. Through my journey, what I realized was the only cause of that switch to be flipped was my own thinking. The meaning that I was giving the experience. The experience itself wasn't dictating whether I was in a primal state or a powerful state, whether I was in sympathetic fight or flight or parasympathetic rest and restoration or relaxation. It was the meaning I was giving the experience. And so that meant that all of my personal suffering was within my own control. I needed to start controlling the meaning I was giving the experiences of life.
Life can happen to you, or life can happen from you. And at this world, at this level, life is emerging from you. You are creating the world as you want to see it. You don't like the university system, you create Mind Valley U. You don't like the way mobile phones work, you create the iPhone. Now, it doesn't have to be something as big as that. It could be the way you hack your education. It could be the way you start your business. It could be the way you told your parents that you were not going to blindly follow their fundamentalist religious ideas, even though they had been part of your family for 300 years. You create your own rules. And this is when this great awakening starts happening.
And I'm going to use this for everybody. Everybody's so crippled by decisions, but you never know how the other thing worked out. Let me give you an example. Let's say you don't go to college and you start this business and you were 100% right and it's huge and you're doing so great. What I'm saying is you're not going to know. So choose, live, and then if it works out, great. And if it doesn't, adjust.
The simplicity of just knowing that you're not alone is really not simple. It's massive, because in those dark moments, you are alone. For the most part, you are physically alone. And so then it's not that hard to take it from a physical to a mental state of, I'm the only one being molested. I'm the only one being beaten. I'm the only one with alcoholic parents. I'm the only one with a mom and dad who hate each other. I'm the only one that lives in a really wealthy community, but everyone's lying to each other. It's really simple for that to happen, but the reality is you're not. And when you're not alone, you have community. What does community give you? Safety, right? It all comes back to being safe. And if I feel safe, then I have power. And then I can do something and control and all these different elements.
The world as you see it is an artifact of a previously held point of view. Your eyes are always looking at the past. Everything we see in this room, as we get out of this room, as we go home, as we survive in the world, as we go to our jobs, it's looking at artifacts of the past. And at this level, the level of awakening, you come to see that. And so you're constantly thinking about how can you create a new world that suits how you want to live life. And so you know that thing about how thoughts create reality? At this point, it's true. And it's not the mumbo-jumbo version of your mind creating reality. Not that that's not real. Here your thoughts are actually creating reality because you are questioning the cognitive plane. You are questioning the rules and the assumptions and the cultures and the beliefs that we hold on to so tightly, thinking they are real. Many of these have hit their expiration date, but people still leave it in their fridge like sour milk. Now what you're doing is opening the refrigerator door, looking at what rules, what beliefs have hit that expiration date and discarding it. And then creating your own stuff to put in that refrigerator.
Believe that life is working in infinitely intelligent ways for our greatest growth, our greatest prosperity, our greatest evolution, that at any moment it's a moment of perfection, right? That it is supposed to happen. And so in that we can live with acceptance, we can live with surrender. We may not actually see it in the moment how it's working for us, but we can choose to trust that it is if we want to.
Of understanding that you're in control. You control your destiny. You can create what you want to create. You have gifts that nobody else on the planet has. You have talent. You have everything. Everything you need to become whatever you want is right here. And I don't care what the limitations are. Physical, mental, spiritual, I don't care. Everything is there for you.
Go forth. Be a visionary. Don't take no for an answer. Question the rules and live life on your terms. As you make a dent in the culturescape and create new things that truly give you joy, that you're truly excited about, that make the world better for all of us in unity.